Ho, ho, ho. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are. Welcome to another episode of Just Us with Khutso and Emily, where we get to discuss everyday issues in a way that unites the world. So, hello, Emily.
Hi. So we're having a little bit of holiday spirit here with our Christmas clothing and our Christmas tree in the background.
Yeah, well, I guess Christmas is in what, 3 days? Can you believe it?
Yeah.
Well, I think you're a little more prepared than I am. You got your tree going on. I just got my head. I can take it off.
Well, at least you don't have to clean anything up afterwards.
Yeah, so Emily, 2020, huh? So today we're really just gonna reflect very briefly on, of course, how we feel today and, hopefully won't bore anybody, get into what the year has been, why we feel the way we do. And hey, Kira.
Hey, I'm saying hello now. Okay.
All right. Gosh,
Yeah.
2020. Sorry, go ahead.
I think we're both feeling a moment of exhaustion. It's been a pretty tough year, hasn't it?
Yep. Let me tell you, I gotta confess, the last few days, it just seems like I can't get enough sleep. Seriously. And it's middle of the summer. I just slept 12 hours last night. You can argue maybe I'm fighting something, but I'm just feeling tired. Hey, somebody has chimed in. Welcome to our show. Whoever is there, we're thankful that you could join us. So yeah, how are you feeling right now, Emily? Christmas is here. Hey, Sabine. Sabine is there.
Brief commercial moments when my children are popping in and out.
Yeah.
Sabine said she likes your Santa hat.
Oh, thank you, Sabine. I love your Christmas tree, so I figured I'd, match you guys.
So yeah. Thank you, honey. So
So honestly, how are you feeling?
Pretty tired. I think a 12-hour sleep sounds pretty appealing to me.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure everybody in the world can relate truly to how we're feeling right now. It's just been a challenging year globally, no matter how you look at it. I know that from my perspective, don't want to dwell too much on the COVID, but it's hard to avoid talking about COVID because that fundamentally changed the way we live our lives, right? You suddenly had to, become an expert in everything, looking after the kids, working from home and, teaching the kids. Yeah. And you just didn't have that space to walk away.
Yeah, I think when all of the worlds become merged in one, it goes to show whether or not you can really, if you can stand on 2 feet at the end of the day, then you're doing pretty well.
We applaud you if you can do that.
And I think this is a moment of when you just don't want to stand on your 2 feet and you want to just take a break from it all.
Yeah. I think this is the time to take a break. I run a marketing agency, a digital marketing agency, and I feel like I've been going full speed all year. I actually made a pact with myself that I'm going to try and just unplug for a little bit, do minimal. And of course, I do a lot of teaching as well. So I just feel like, I'm to that point where it's got to happen. I've just got to unwind because, and the kids are on school holidays now.
Yeah.
So they're at home again.
The idea of what's the word? Unplugging yourself. The only time that nowadays it's so hard to unplug yourself. No matter where you go, you can be connected. And it's funny because our whole podcast is about being connected. But sometimes that connectivity can be a bit overwhelming with all trying to stay on top of the entire world is a lot on one's shoulders.
Yeah.
If, with our jobs that are global now, you pretty much can work 24/7 because of the time differences and balancing your life and with work in one time zone and then your home life with another time zone. So it's almost as if the very traditional the traditional approach to sorry, you're cutting lemons. This year was a lemon.
I like your Santa hat. Sorry, I got a little distracted there because my friend Nikki is streaming in from South Africa. Thanks for chiming in, Mama. Nikki is a good friend of mine. She's been through thick and thick with me. So it's great to see her chime in. And happy holidays, Mama Nikki. So, gosh, I got distracted. Where were we? After you said something.
I was cutting a lemon because this year has been a lemon.
You were what, sorry?
Cutting a lemon in half. You're not hearing my analogy here, so it's a very good one.
How you're going to make lemonade with your lemon?
This year was a lemon, and my daughter walked in and asked me to cut the lemon, and I'm like, yeah, I'm cutting this lemon in half, and we're going to make lemonade out of this damn lemon.
Oh, man, I hear you. Well, we got a little bit of a story to share. Earlier today, Emily, we did try to do a stream with the kids, right? And do you care to share what happened, which is just very symptomatic of how things are right now?
Well, I think, we had a really good practice session yesterday with our kids, and then today we thought we would reenact that. And of course, none of that happened. And I said to Khutso, I said, this is the world of online teaching, because one moment you have them engaged, the next moment they're off doing whatever they want to do. And then the next moment they're doing funny faces in the camera.
Sticking their feet in.
Which I think topped it all off. And suddenly the whole conversation went into some void, and we were completely distracted by our face expression in our hands. And
yeah, well, you know what? Bless the kids. Kids are going to be kids. They're going to do what they got to do. And it's kind of hard to try and keep all of that under check, under wraps, because bloody hell. Yeah. So, all right, we talked a little bit about COVID, obviously. Now, are there personal accomplishments you'd like to share this year? I mean, you switched countries when nobody else was traveling, right?
Yeah, well, it will be nice to be able to travel again. I think we're probably all starting to feel pretty isolated. You can only do the virtual life for so long.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
No, I can hear you. I've said time and time again, I just can't wait to get on an airplane again. Me and
in the midst of COVID, they had you could go and sit on an airplane and just simulate going on an airplane ride. That's desperation.
Now that takes a whole notion of visualize and manifest. It goes to a whole other level. Just go to the airport and just sit there. I wanted to do that actually. Just sit there. I miss the airport. I'm sorry?
Sit there and people watch.
Yeah. And just people watch and just wear your mask and see what happens. Just take it all in. It's going to bring the travel back. Yeah, gosh.
Well,
And oh, I see my brother has chimed in. Has streamed in also. Hello. Oh wow, how are we able to see his comments? Can you see his comment?
yeah, he's now very much a part of our conversation because his comment is in big, bold letters on our screen.
I know, and I have no idea how he managed that. Okay. Let me tell you, he's the scientist in the family, so it doesn't surprise me that he can do it.
I think he makes a very important point here. Missing the plane and feeling all important. Totally what it's about. Traveling the world and on my trips where, it was just so important to go to that one particular meeting that with that one particular person. And now you can just do it online in 5 minutes without all of the.
But you know what? Let's be honest. I think all of us got very excited about the convenience of working from home and never having to go anywhere. And yes, there is something to be said about that, but there's absolutely no replacement to that face-to-face human interaction. You walk through, somebody's in their physical space. There really isn't a replacement to that. And I think we're all feeling the brunt of it. We're just kind of getting quite sick and tired of, oh, I see how this thing is working. Okay.
When you click on it.
Yes. There we go. That's how it works. That happened by accident.
New every day. We learn something new. Talking about accomplishments, you asked me about my accomplishments. I will be very humble about the big accomplishments and not mention them. But what seems like
them.
very minor accomplishment, a very minor accomplishment to some, major to us and to me in this particular instance, technology. Overcoming technology, trying to figure out how to do vlogs and podcasts and record videos with microphones. And all of this seems quite simple, but in today's world of many different devices that sometimes talk to each other and sometimes don't, and all these different platforms and all these different approaches to how we can utilize media to talk with each other. Wow, the number of different conference systems that I have used. There must be.
You have these.
Okay, thank you. So I think technology is an accomplishment this year for everybody.
Yeah, I think we've all upped our game. I mean, if you don't know how to connect to a Zoom call or a similar portal, it's just unusual. But I think all of us have really moved into that space. And for me personally, I can really relate because I run a digital marketing agency. And let me tell you, when you're a woman of a certain age, these things don't come very naturally to you. I've had to go learn how to navigate the online, the digital marketing system, the digital marketing world. And yes, I can tell you this has been the year where, it's been an honor being able to help people hop on board, enter that whole space, because it's not something that comes intuitively to all of us. And my agency is now exactly a year old. We just celebrated its anniversary. It's 1 year birthday, I should say, beginning of December. So that's a big accomplishment for me. Starting from being totally petrified of technology, to mastering it to a point that that I've opened a business and have helped other business owners do the same and really leverage leads and all of that. That has been exciting. And then what else? And really surviving the whole thing with the kids. Man, I maybe because 99.999% of my life are my kids, my time in the day. But man, surviving, meeting everybody's need when you have 3 little ones. And in your case, you got 2, pretty much on your own. it's challenging when you're the one who has to do, the daily, pull the ropes on a daily basis. It's a huge accomplishment. Walking out, coming out alive, as I'm sure every parent can relate. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see what else has been interesting this year. Well, I think the mundane have been challenging. I mean, we've had the sort of lockdown in South Africa where we weren't allowed to do much. I've said, I've got my lockdown look. I think a lot of us, well, some of us at least, have got the lockdown look. Even kids, the lockdown look is where you put on a couple of pounds because you've been so locked in, right? And you're coming up with a health program, my friend. So I'm looking forward to you keeping us all in shape. But yeah, it's been a while now that we've been able to run, but we've been able to leave our houses to go exercise. But just the number of hours you spend looking at the screen.
Yeah.
Instead of just going somewhere.
But your screen time is just exponentially grown.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't know if my brother is still there and if Nikki is still there and whoever else is there. We'd love to hear how your 2020 has been, what some of your highlights have been, and what your challenges have been. I know my brother misses flying, he says. That's something we can all relate to. What do you think the kids miss, Emily? Do your kids miss anything that they used to do or used to have that they haven't been able to get because of that?
My kids are fortunate because they came back to New Zealand. So
fill my water.
Okay.
Quick.
Okay. No, not right now. Okay. So I think that their perception of the world is very different at the moment. And so we're quite spoiled in that sense.
Mm-hmm. Do you think they've noticed that there is COVID and that life has changed, or do you think for them it's just business as usual?
I think that's what I actually, on a note to end on with this podcast with some type of message. My children went from the midst of COVID, spending 8 months, in the COVID world of the US, where part of that was online schooling. We had the lockdown. My daughter, when we moved to the States, had just moved there, so she didn't have time to really establish any friends, and so she was really limited of who she could play with. And then transitioned, and we went through 2 weeks of being locked in a room to quarantine before being able to transition back to a normal life here. I think what I can tell everybody is that the children will be okay, because my children have essentially forgotten all about it and have just moved on, and they are now in their day-to-day, and they are, happy with the moment that they're in. And I think that originally our podcast was going to try and show that, because yesterday, as we tried to get some depth into our conversation around children and interchanging between cultures and all of these things that we've discussed over the series of this podcast around the hopes we have for our children and their future in this very multicultural and global society. At the end of the day, they are living in the moment and they are happy with the little things. And so my children have really just moved on from COVID quite smoothly with no traumatic effects. And I think that I think that most children will be able to do that. And, obviously others have had to experience it longer than some.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that the kids, that's the beauty of children, is that they live in the moment and they transfer on to the next moment nicely.
Yeah. No, children are quite amazing. They're adaptable and they're resilient. Yeah, you know what? I could say the same with mine. They've just totally moved on. Yes, there's COVID. Yes, we wear masks when we go out, but they're not really that daunted by the change in lifestyle that, we've all had, the changes we've all had to adopt. And as parents, we worry a lot about our kids. Oh my God, they're going to be this, they're going to be that. But at the end of the day, they do a heck of a lot better than we do. So I guess that's heartwarming to know and good to remember that they'll be okay. And they are okay. They're fortunate. They have food and, water and a home. Hey, look, we got a new baby. That's a Bean's little puppy.
This is our new year. Our new year treat. Our puppy.
Nice. Very nice.
Starting fresh.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We can talk a whole lot about 2020. It's a topic that everybody can, some are exhausted from talking about it. And others just, could talk about it forever. I guess we all deal with stress in different ways. Some people want to talk about it, and others just can't be bothered. Let's just move on. Oh, and my brother says online schooling was the most painful experience. And oh gosh, I can relate. Woo! Yeah. Can we not do that again, please? Seriously, that was a serious pain in the which. Woo. And I absolutely applaud parents who've even done some version of it because, there's a reason why we pay teachers to teach our kids. That's my conclusion. Because we can't do everything ourselves. And we don't pay them enough, let me tell you. And I teach also part-time. So I know all about the woes of that. But man, there's a reason we outsource services that we can provide ourselves because it's no child's play, as they say. So, yeah. Anyway, Emily, I think it's time to call it off, to call it a day for this week.
Yeah.
So I think next week will be a lot more upbeat, a lot more revived.
Because we're moving into 2021.
Yay! For what it's worth.
Looking to the future. I always tell people that I am in your future and it's looking good.
Hey, you're the clairvoyant one, right? Awesome. Well, everybody. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say happy holidays to everybody. Enjoy the moment. That regardless if you celebrate Christmas or not, that this is the ultimate purpose of the time of year is to just be present in the moment, relax, be with your family, and just turn off all of the outside world for a moment.
Yeah, just be. And that goes for us too, Emily, because we're workaholics. It's like we're like, yeah, we all need to do this, and then we then we don't quite unplug.
Yes.
So we'll still be on next week sometime, don't forget, if you're watching this later or whenever, don't forget to hit subscribe so you will be notified every time we come on live. And thanks for tuning in. Thank you, Alma Daddy, and happy holidays to the world, whichever holiday you celebrate. Okay. All right, guys. Bye, Emily. Bye, everybody.
Bye.